we back at it with a double feature this time, so let's get into it with another Transformers movie and another live-action Disney remake.
Again?
Again.
Okay, Transformers Rise of the Beastie Boys was
pretty good.
I have not been a fan of these movies in the past. The first one was okay, but I was a kid the last time I saw it, so who knows how I'd feel about it now. Transformers 2 had...
Okay, I'm alright.
This is combat, man.
Oh, brain freeze, man.
What's wrong with you?
Autobot twins report.
Badass ice cream truck coming through. Excuse me. Look at those. Nice. Yeah, baby, it's upgrade time. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, look at it. It's my booty call right here.
Trying to get my sexy on with green. No, green is mine. I call green.
Be my badass. That's because you the one.
Forced me into that car, right? So.
Oh, I think he's scared. What are we gonna do with this shrimp taco?
Just bump a cap in his ass, throw him in the truck, and then nobody gonna know nothing, not me.
Yeah, not in my trunk.
Your bumper car?
Why don't you get a haircut with your bitch ass? Huh?
The symbols that have been rattling around.
Old school, yo. That's Cybertronian. Oh, that's some serious stuff right there.
They gotta mean something, like a message.
Read? We don't really do much reading.
That's gotta be racist. There's no way.
So yeah, I never finished it. And the only thing I can remember about Transformers 3 was that it had Spock in it. I never saw the Wahlberg movies, and you can't make me. And I haven't seen Bumblebee, but people really seem to like that one. And I've been told it was good, so maybe I'll put it on one of these days. I say all that to say, I wasn't really interested in this movie when they announced it, but then I saw it was including the Maximals from probably my favorite Transformer show, Beast Wars, and that part of my lizard brain that sends my endorphins running was like, bet, I'm in there. So the main plot of the story is, well, it's kind of the same thing as every Transformers movie. There's a thing that the Autobots need to get that will finally get them back home, but the insert group of bad robots here are trying to use it to take over the world. Also, some humans who shockingly are able to survive multiple instances of them probably dying are along for the ride. Now, I know from the way I'm describing it, it sounds like I didn't like it, but I did. Honestly, I feel like you can really get away with not having the most original story in a blockbuster movie if you can make your characters appealing enough. And I think the writer Joby Harold and the director Stephen Caple Jr. did a really good job with that. Anthony Ramos from Hamilton and Dominic Fishback, who you probably know from Swarm or Judas and the Black Messiah, also did a really dope job as the human characters for this movie. Now, let's be honest, no one ever really cares about the human characters in a Transformers movie, but both of these guys made their characters likable enough to where I actually didn't mind spending time with them when we weren't focused on the Autobots. Speaking of which, this movie made me like the movie version of the Autobots again. Mostly. Bumblebee is surprisingly sidelined for most of the movie, so Pete Davidson's Mirage kind of fills the Autobot that bonds with the human role in this one. I know a lot of people aren't big Pete Davidson fans, but I always thought he was pretty funny, and he was used well here. But I can see how Mirage could get on other people's nerves. He was kind of like if Jim Carrey's The Mask was an Autobot.
That felt good! I've been cooped up forever, dude. This is probably a lot for you, huh? Hey, whoa, I thought after the car chase we were boys.
What are you?
The name's Mirage.
Optimus Prime is one of my favorite childhood heroes up there with Goku and Superman, and I always felt like these live-action movies did him really dirty by him getting his ass beat all the time. And that didn't stop here. The Predacons were two-piecing my boy the whole movie. Even Optimus Prime was like, wait, this is a nigga I'm named after? The fight scenes were better than they usually are in that you could actually tell which characters were which and what character was doing what. The main villains for the movie were Scourge and Omicron, played by Peter Dinklage and Coleman Domingo respectively, and it was cool to see Omicron pop up as a reference to the original Transformers movie from the 80s. But he wasn't much of a presence here. At least, not to me. Scourge was pretty badass though. He had this thing where he would jack the hood ornament of every Transformer he killed. The feeling of this movie was very different from the other Transformers movies too. It takes place in the 90s and they spent a good amount of time in New York, and combined with the soundtrack, it definitely gave this movie that kind of vibe. This was the best Transformers movie I've seen in years. It wasn't perfect, but it did a lot of things right. If we get more Transformers movies like this one, I wouldn't be mad at it. Slap a 3 out of 5 on there. Alright, here we go. Grown ass man about to give his opinion on a kids movie.
Nigga, you gotta be ashamed of yourself, nigga. Real talk, you gotta be ashamed of yourself. All as you is.
In the past, I haven't been the biggest fan of live action Disney remakes, and as a kid, I never really gave a about The Little Mermaid. I mean, my shit was more so Mulan, you know, Hercules, and Aladdin. So, it already had 2 strikes against it with me going in. Honestly, if Halle Bailey wasn't playing Ariel, I probably would have just skipped it, but she's an amazing singer, so I was willing to give it a shot. I actually watched The Little Mermaid for the first time ever prior to watching the remake to compare and contrast it, and here's my comparison.
They're the same picture.
There's little additions like Prince Eric getting his own song and performance that made me think of Zac Efron in High School Musical 2. And Scuttle somehow being able to swim underwater, but yeah, for the most part it's pretty much the same movie. To its credit, even though the trailers made it seem like everything would be dark and hard to see, I don't think there was a single moment on screen where I was having trouble being able to see what was going on. The actual musical numbers in the new Little Mermaid don't really hold a candle to the original ones. Musically, I felt like Halle is the only one who lived up to the original, and everyone else is just kind of okay. Also, they got Daveed Diggs sound like Russell from Living Single.
Oh, hey, didn't expect to find you here. And I really didn't expect to find her here.
Hey, you listen to me, Bird. The king can never hear of this.
Oh, cheese and bread. Damn thing broke again. You see what working for this Goat Yard magazine has done to me?
The thing is, there's stuff you can do in animation that you just can't in a live-action movie that you're trying to make more realistic. Like in the original sequence for Under the Sea, there's a lot going on. You have all kinds of sea creatures singing and moving around. It's actually pretty entertaining and interesting to look at. In the remake, it's really mostly Sebastian doing the singing, and then the other sea creatures in the scene are just kinda there. There was another new song from Scuttle and Sebastian that was a rap song that instantly reminded me that Lin-Manuel Miranda worked on this movie. If you're watching a kids movie and all of a sudden a character starts rapping like Eminem guest starring on an episode of Hip Hop Harry, Lin-Manuel Miranda was probably around. I like Lin-Manuel, and I like Hamilton. This song, not so much. I don't know. I kind of wish Disney would take some more risks with these remakes, like change the story a little bit, or maybe even tell the story from someone else's point of view like Maleficent, but I guess risks don't always equal profit. The performances were really good though. Halle Bailey sang her fins off. Melissa McCarthy kind of took me by surprise with how fun her Ursula performance was. It felt like the kind of performance you'd see on Broadway in the best way. But, yeah. If you like the original, and aren't racist, you'll like the remake because it's the same movie. Kids seem to love it too, which at the end of the day is the most important part. It's kind of weird that a remake of a kids movie caused so much controversy on the Bird app. This movie gets a 2.5 out of 5, but Halle Bailey singing gets a 5 out of 5.
Wish I could be